Alrighty, y'all. I am making this video to show you guys a new indicator. Just a little side note, no idea why my camera is flashing red. I have just updated the firmware, troubleshooted a little bit, can't figure it out. So I wanted to say hi and show you guys what I'm doing today, and then I'll just go ahead and take myself off so I'm not distracting. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the dollar cost average entry and risk-free exit trading plan that I created. It's an indicator you put onto your screen. If you end up purchasing it after watching this video, it'll show up in your invite only tabs right here. Essentially, it's a risk management tool. It's a very handy risk management tool, I have to say. If I would have had this, let me just make sure. Yeah, if I would have had this whenever I began, I would have been a lot more profitable from the beginning, slowly scaling into positions and then scaling out in defined amounts to where you can establish a risk-free exit trading plan. Shut the hell up, cat. Anyway, okay, so this is what we're looking at. So essentially, you're going to type in on your indicator here your signal price and your stop loss price. So we'll just start with that. So essentially you can use this with any trading strategy, especially all the trading strategies I've came out with. Probably any trading strategy, like it's a risk management tool. If you know how to use it, it will benefit you, and you will be able to turn winners into or losses into winners or losses into break even at the least, if you follow a trading plan of some style. So I'm going to show you guys the default settings, what it's like. It's very customizable, but essentially, let's say you get a strategy entry, right here. So this is what the green line is saying. This is where your entry price is, and then we're going to establish a stop loss price, which is this red line here. So you would do that by just pulling this up, typing in your signal price and your stop loss price. You can move these around if you want. I don't know. Let's change. Let's just go. Let's swap assets. That way you can see it works on multiple assets. Essentially, all you have to do is input what price are we at. So let's do 64,000 and 62,000. Okay, so that'll populate up on your screen, and essentially it will just fit these two lines where your signal got fired, where your strategy should have been fired at, and then where your stop loss will be at. And so what it's going to populate for you is kind of a scattered entry plan. Dollar cost average entry plan is what you would call this essentially. But essentially you'll pull this up and you'll type in, like, say you want to buy 5 Bitcoin, okay? It will scatter out your entries. It will tell you at what price. It'll tell you this is first off, it's established by your percentage to your stop loss. So your first entry is going to be at 0%. So it's going to be right when your strategy fires, essentially. And your second one will be at 33% of the distance between your signal price and your stop loss price. And then the second one will be at 66%. It's very customizable. If you want to change this to 50%, boom, it'll pop it around, like whatever you want to do. This is just the default settings I have it set at. And then you can also customize, like say you want to enter half of your position right off the bat, and then scatter out your next 25% over the next 2. It'll change these numbers around for you. I guess in this case, since it's 5, let's just go back to 10 so it's nice and round. So it'll change these numbers up for you so you know where to enter at, and that sort of thing. So the default settings here, I have it at 40, 30, 30. The reasoning for that is because of how we are scaling out. So I'll get to that here in just a bit. But first off, I want to start off, it works for longs and shorts. So if we were doing a short, let's say our signal price is 60,000. So it'll pop these around here. So our signal price is here. Our stop loss price is here. I guess we could make this a little more realistic for the chart we're looking at. And so here's our stop loss price. Here's our entry price that we entered at. And so essentially you're going to have staggered entries in between your 2 points, and then it'll automatically populate for you like different risk to reward values that you specify. You can also specify how much of a percentage you want to exit at each of those exits. So essentially it's creating a game plan for you to enter and exit your trades more than just buy here and immediately sell here when it hits, PMA or B or something along those lines. So these default settings, how I have it set up is you're going to exit 40% of your position at your first exit at a 1.5 R. This will establish your next 2 trades to be completely for profit. It'll create a risk-free trade for you, and if price were to completely reverse from your first exit all the way back to your stop loss, you would end up losing $0. And so that's how these default settings are set up for you. It's very customizable. Say if you want to do 60% here at maybe a 1R, something along those lines, then that's probably a risk-free trade as well for your next 2 positions. You can do the math on that pretty easily, but so yeah, essentially that's pretty much how you're going to be using this. All you have to do is change from long to short, and specify different prices. So our long price will be at 65,000. Here's our stop loss. Let's make it so what is this? 62 200. We go with that, and our entry price was say 63.5. Okay, so this way we can kind of see like a realistic place here. So our signal got fired right here. We want to put a stop loss below the low. You could just type that in as I just showed you. And if price were to retrace from here, you'd have your 40% entry here, but then you would have 2 separate entries, 2 limit orders that you would have down here to scale in. And then you would exit at 40% of your position size if you got all 10 of those contracts in. And then your next 2 exits would be completely for profit. So that's essentially how this works. You can customize this to any trading plan you have. This is just the default settings that I have it on. Also, if you don't want to use the dollar cost average entries, just take that off. Enter when your strategy is fired. Nothing changes. And vice versa. If you just want to use the dollar cost average entry plan and not the risk-free exit plan, all you got to do is toggle these on and off. Very customizable. Works on all assets. You don't have to change anything to go from futures to dollar-based currencies or even forex. Like, you could use it for everything. It's just a phenomenal risk management tool, and I'm incorporating this logic into all of my algorithmic strategies, as well as when I'm manually trading. This is what I'm doing now, because most often after you get a signal, especially if you're taking momentum typed strategies, which a lot of my strategies are that I've developed, most of the time it's like a train. So it doesn't just automatically go from 0 to 60. It has to go to 0 to 20, and then 20 to 60 happens relatively fast, but then the 60 getting back to 0 takes miles. Okay, so it's not just automatically going to go straight up. Okay, most of the time it's going to go up to here, and then it'll come back down a bit, set a higher low, and then we will see the train go from 20 to 60 really quickly. Okay, so that's kind of what that's depicting here, is slowly getting into your position and then scaling out at predefined points for yourself that you will be able to create a profitable trading system and a risk-free exit system, ideally. So I'm using this with all of my strategies. This thing stays on my chart at all times now, because all you have to really do is type in your signal price, type in your stop loss price, and type in the number of assets. If you're going short, just change this and do the same exact thing. I'm using my default settings currently with strategy 1, 7, and 8, especially number 7. This is working well for. And strategy number 2, which I don't think anybody else is trading except for me currently, but hopefully that will change once I launch the next algorithmic trading strategy that's for launch. But anyway, I wanted to introduce this to you guys. It is if I were to have this when I first began trading, I probably would have taken a lot less losses, because most of the time your strategy is probably going to hit your first exit and may not hit your last exit, but I never established a risk-free trade by that point. And then also not scaling in, not going, buying all 10 contracts as soon as your signal has started, because momentum-based strategies normally have a retrace, and you can always get a little bit better of an entry. So, I would say at least 90% of the time you can get a better entry than when your exact strategy was fired. So this is going to increase your profitability as well, and then decrease the risk of you having a losing trade by scaling in and scaling out. So that's pretty much what this is for. Very customizable. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. All of these numbers, all you have to do is change them around to your liking, to your specific strategy you're using. Any of those things. You can change the colors if you want. You can just take the labels off completely. You know, it's a pretty simple based indicator. It took me a little while to develop because I needed to form the logic behind it all. But essentially, I'm incorporating this into all my algorithmic strategies and using it when I'm manually trading all the time too. So if you like this, it's available for purchase on the website. I don't remember if I still have it pulled up. Yeah, I do. You just got to click the button and go to it. I'm going to create videos over these next 2 indicators that I created next, and you know, go from there. But slowly coming out with a lot of tools to add into your tool belt if you would like, and you know, if you don't, there's no hard feelings at all. I create these for myself, so it's, you know, I will use them at the least, and I hope you will too, because you know, one, it will create a better trading system for you rather than just buying at your signal price and then selling at your exit price, and that sort of thing. This is very, very nice. The code behind it was pretty complex. I had to account for all different assets essentially within the same thing. So dollar-based assets, futures assets, and forex assets as well. Well, now it just looks weird because I swapped. So here's all the price action from Nasdaq down at 17,000, and then looking at Bitcoin up here at 65. So you just have to change the numbers around and it would have adapted. I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. So what do we got? 17,800, and let's do 17,500. Okay, just to put it on screen for you, and then see, it'll just populate it for you. If you want to swap this around to shorts one more time, I'll just show you that. Swap it around to shorts. Let's just swap these numbers. 17.5 and our stop loss at 17.8. Okay, so here's your signal price. You'll scale in here and here and here. Here's your stop loss, and then you will take profit at your R values according to what you wanted to do. So, you know, obviously, if you were to change this down to 5, it's going to give you like 1.5. So do your due diligence. Sell 2 here, or sell 3 here, sell 1, sell 1. You know, something along those lines. Anyway, very straightforward on how to use it, I feel like. I just wanted to introduce it to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the Discord. And yeah, enjoy.